What we want to do is continue talking about working with and manipulating text boxes. And I went ahead and rearranged my page a little bit. Notice that my automatic page numbers are a little bit smaller, and I simply moved them from the master pages down, made it smaller, and moved it down here so that we could work with our text in the upper part of our page. Okay? So, at any rate, let's go ahead and start looking again further at these blocks of text. There are a couple of things. Remember that everything about the box is that everything is in, whether it's a graphic or whether it is text, is nothing more than a box of points and paths from Illustrator. What I mean by that is, notice that with the white arrow, I can go in here and I can simply click on the corner of this text box, and look, I can literally change the shape of the box that the text is in. It's nothing more than a box made out of anchor points straight out of Illustrator. Not only can we simply manipulate this shape in any way that we want, and the text will flow with it, but just like any other shapes in Illustrator, we can actually go into the pen tool, for instance, and I could add, not that I would find many situations where I want to do this, but I can go ahead and add anchor points to this shape, and then go back, and again, just like any other Illustrator shape, I can manipulate this shape and the anchor points that make it up. So once again, this is really nothing more than a box with anchor points that can be manipulated in any way, shape, or form, and the text will flow within it. So that's an important point that we want to make. Another one is that the box that the text is in can, as we had done up here in the headline, the box itself can have a stroke on it, and it could, at least in theory, have color in it. And sometimes you'll see a box highlighted, a text box with color in it. But there's a very important little rule that you want to follow. It very clearly separates amateur type design from more professional. And if it, because you have a border, a stroke, or because you choose to add color to this text box, if in fact you decide to do that, let's do that now. Let's add some color to this text box. Well, when you have body text like this, and for any reason, whether it's color in the fill or a stroke around the box, if you can see the box itself, it's extraordinarily amateurish to have the text go right to the edge of the box. And so if we want the box itself to be visible, what we want is to push the text in a little bit so that it won't be right at the edge of the box. You see, over here where you're not going to see the box, of course, it's not important, and you would leave the text going to the edge of the box. But here, this is really amateurish. A couple of ways to do that. One is that we can go up to our type in our main menu, and we can look at a couple of different things. Actually, let's slide over to Object, and let's look at text frame options. Text frame options. Okay, and there are a couple of things here. First, right here, we can see inset text. inset the text. Okay, and this is a very useful thing. And so right here, if I start to put some numbers in here and click the preview button, you see this text has bumped itself back in to the box a little bit. Let's say like that. Again, I'm just looking at what's going on here, and you see the text is pushed in the box, not on the edge of the box, and it looks much more believable and simply more professional. So there you see the difference. See? Okay, and that's where I've just bumped it back out again. So we can just highlight the box, and then we can say Object, Text Frame Options, and it's here that we can say Inset the text from the edge of the box, and we will be in good shape. And there's the color added back to the box. Alright. Another thing that we can do with that same box, notice here, I'm going to back up to my headline and show you a couple of things here with my black arrow. And let's say, and this sometimes happens, let me move these couple of things down. Okay, here let's say my box, as you can see, is fairly large. And notice that the text is sitting at the top of the box. If it's body text, like down here, typically that's what you want, so that you can push the boxes for columns of type up, and they're all even across the top. But there are going to be situations here where we would prefer this text, let's say, to be in the middle of this yellow box, not automatically bumped up at the top. So here again, we activate the box. We go up under Text Frame Options once again. This is a very useful box with tools in it. And here, what we're looking at is down near the bottom, vertical alignment. Here, it's at the top. Watch. Go to center, and in fact, there's the text. So we can do it at the bottom. We can do it at the top, which typically is for body copy. But a lot of times, for something like a headline, if it's in its own box, we want it centered. So this is where we can add those attributes. Always make sure you turn on the preview button in any dialog box, otherwise you might not see the change before you have to cancel it or agree with it. Alright, there we have it. The other place that we can do some of this business is up in our options bar, in our paragraph tools. And very briefly, I'll get my text box, my text tool, and if I highlight some text, we have something new here. Here are my typography specifications, and amongst the other things that we can do, over to the right, I'm looking at my options bar, and it's outside of our video area. We in fact have some 4 little dialog boxes over on the far right that let me push my text in on the left and the right side. And we could have accomplished what we did here by pushing the text inward. We also can go up to the top of the options bar, and right up here we have a couple of things. Notice this little backwards P here. And with this little backwards P, that's a paragraph symbol. If I click on that, instead of the little A up here, it changes all of my tools. And here you go. And when I change to paragraph tools, amongst the other things the things that I see are the alignment. We talked a little bit about that earlier. And here, you can simply look at these and see that what they do. Look at these little icons. And here is where you can indent the text on the left. Here, you can indent it on the right. You, as we often do, indent text on the first line or the first word. And so we have some of those tools here. To see these in the options bar, we have to switch from the typography tools. Watch when I click the little A up here, you see it goes back. Come down here to this little backwards P, click it, and we get these other tools. And we're going to come back and talk about a drop cap and some other things that we can do very easily here in the next video.